Tribe. It's LED, the headologist. I'm recording today because I had a little blip of insight in the wee small hours of this morning and I wanted to share it with you. You might notice while I'm making this video that I am reading from a script, and that's because videos still make me nervous. I'm trying to get over that, and writing is a lot more natural for me, so I'm reading because I wrote everything out. But anyway, so this morning I woke up at 6:30 in the dark and had about 5 seconds before my brain started pounding on me. I've been doing a lot of deep thinking about the headologist and where we're going and our tribe and how awesome we are. And it just started in right away, like bam, right there. And it almost had me on the verge of a panic attack because I was going round and round with the same thoughts in the hamster wheel, and I couldn't find a place to stop and break free. One led to another, led to another, led to another, led me back where I started, and I just couldn't get out of it. So I just lay there in the dark, my brain grinding on me for a good hour before I remembered that maybe I should get up and write. Writing is my outlet, not just creatively, but emotionally and mentally and spiritually. I do morning pages every day. Sometimes I write more than 1,000 words. I shoot for about 750 so that I can really get down to what I'm thinking. And I just take everything that's going on in my brain and I push it out and I turn it into writing so that I can relieve the pressure of just the constant thinking. My brain is constantly going, and when it hits me first thing in the morning, I have to do something about it. But that's not all that writing is. If it was just a simple release valve, it would be a lot easier, and I wouldn't be making a video to tell you about it. Having a writing practice forces me to take those implicit, abstract, kind of free-floating feelings and convert them into something concrete, make them explicit so that they could be understood by anybody who was reading it. Thinking is great, but writing helps you process and track what you're thinking and how you're thinking and the ways that you're growing and how you're dealing with it. It lets you make sense of what you think. It shows you those dark sides that you don't learn that you have, and breaks down the walls between your talking self and your higher self so they can communicate. And it forces you to process by transferring nebulous, abstract concepts into specific language. It takes the implicit and makes it explicit. When I stay on top of my writing, I can track my process really easily. The writing might be all smushed together, or it might be disjointed and confusing, but it really is forming some kind of stepping stone. And rather than sitting on what I'm obsessing about at the moment, it pieces together one day at a time. Every time I write about it, another piece slots into place, and it eventually makes a whole picture that I can step back and look at and determine what I did right, what I did wrong, how I got to where I am now from where I was then. And so sitting down this morning, I just word vomited into a Word document at like 900 words in a complete stream of consciousness, solid block of text about how deeply frustrated I am that I feel vagueness in my message about how I communicate my big ideas and how I get in touch with the tribe and how you guys perceive me. And it seems like there's some vagueness there, and that really upsets me. And I just barfed. And at the end of it, it was half an hour, and I didn't have a solution. I didn't have a new message or new wording to better communicate, but I'd taken a step to finding one, because now all of that built up emotion and all that panic and fear and paralyzing terror is outside my head. It doesn't have to live in there anymore. And now I can reference it instead of having to completely rehash it every time, instead of recogitating constantly. Now, writing isn't magic, and it isn't easy, and it isn't always fun. I don't always want to do it. there are definitely days where I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, why do I have to do, I have so many other things to do, I hate doing this, but I do it anyway. Because by the time I write that paragraph of, oh my God, I hate doing this so much, there's something on my mind. And it helps me dig in and really find out things that I might be suppressing, or different solutions that I hadn't even consciously thought of to problems that I may not even be thinking about anymore. Because once I start writing it, I have to hit a certain number of words, and by that point, I've really dug up something good. So, to my mind, writing is a vital component of making myself more awesome. It lets me self-reflect, and it's a great avenue for increasing my self-awareness because I can spot the patterns and the repetitive thoughts, and I can start tracing them through my writing into the fears that might be behind them. It's writing's an organic system. We've been doing it most of our lives, most of us anyway, and it takes the detritus of fear and frustration and shapes it into something useful, into a stepping stone on our journey. And so I write, and I encourage you to do the same, because writing is a fantastic way to really get in touch with yourself and find out who you really are and how you really think. So that was my insight for today. And I would love to hear your experience with writing, even if it's bad. I definitely even want to more hear negative writing experiences and how it lets you get in touch with yourself or what you think you might be missing, because you're going to start seeing a lot more about the power of writing around the Headologist. And I really want to know what your relationship is with it, why you do or don't use it for self-reflection.